Так, запись пошла. Стрим. Ну, короче, для тех, кто начало не увидит, а вы его не увидите, мы вошли в морг. И сейчас мы в морге. Я просто решил перезапустить стрим и запись, потому что игра лагает. Да ты, блядь, шутишь, что ли? Можешь запустить стрим? Да наконец-таки.
To the infected William Bishop must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement. It's locked, all right. These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood. It's locked.
Расследование. Доступного расследования. Отчет о смерти патологоанатома Пемберской больницы. Отчет о расследовании. Покойный Сэмюэль Коннор. Раса европеоидная. Пол мужской. Возраст 39 лет. Домашний адрес неизвестен. Род занятий рыбак. Тип смерти естественно. Вероятная причина смерти быстро прогрессирующая пневмония с вирусом, индуцированным уплотнением легкого. Испанский грипп. Присутствующий на вскрытии доктор Коркоран Типпетс, медсестра Гвинет Бранаган. Имя и подпись под патологоанатома доктор Коркоран Типпетс.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked. It's locked, all right.
Хуй здесь нельзя было.
Balls of Mars. Fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. It's locked.
что это было под
These
конец.
scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Зачем потом, если можно сейчас? Вот это. Это. Переутомление, переутомление. Короче, 2 переутомления, 3 переутомления надо. Ладно, пока что 2. Угу, 2. Урод. С дождина пошел. Это читал? Да, я это читал.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
You always knew the words to calm the children.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
Good evening, sir.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing
Good
to
evening,
give you
Mr.
the benefit
Goswick.
of the doubt.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Doctor.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Я забыл, что мне нужно. Потом вернусь. Так, у меня же еще...
Safer here than anywhere else in the East End.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Goodbye. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett in our situation?
I can't say I approve of what you did. But as a field surgeon, I know that some situations require you to bend the rules.
I'm not proud of what I've done, but to contain the epidemic must be our priority, so we can't afford to lose Dr. Tippett.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of view. Dr. Tippett is a brilliant practitioner. We most definitely need his know-how.
I hope you're right. This is a huge risk we're taking.
Dr. Tippett must regain his confidence. Please, keep this decision between you and me. He doesn't need to know you found out.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Гвоздичное масло. Много гвоздичного масла, много кадеина, много железа, много гипохлорита.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Мне нужен кокс. Клей кокс. Вот он.
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe only the strongest will survive in these dark times.
If there must be only one, in the end, make no mistake, I'll be the winner.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
We can't escape the consequences of our actions. The past catches up with us in the end.
I ain't afraid of death. I don't hide who I am. I live my life honestly, which is more than I can say for most folks.
And who are you, then?
I'm the leader of the Wet Boot Boys. One day, I'll leave this shitty place and punch in the face all who thought I would not come back.
I'll leave.
Hey, Doc.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
I'll leave you for...
This is no time for self-pity. It is the last thing our patients need.
It's safer here.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Редкий вид вампиров. Я, как ученый и интерпретатор древних текстов, всегда настаивал на том, чтобы в ходе поиска тайн мы принимали в расчет легенды и древний фольклор. Часто мы совершаем ошибку, принимая имеющиеся у нас знания за неопровержимую истину, и на основании этого отвергаем все противоречащие им материалы. Например, мы должны учесть возможность существования еще неизвестного вида вампиров и переосмыслить знания, накопленные нами о различных типах бессмертных. Сколько лет мы считали, что вампир это разоговорочное обозначение существа, которое мы называем экон. До того, как 4 исследователей братства нашли в Сибири доказательства того, что волкоды это похоже на волков-вампира, мы считали этих существ мифическими оборотнями. Теперь мы знаем, что это не так. А остальные. А ракшасы, обитающие на моей родине, а китайские дзянши или пеучины из юга Чили. И даже если не покидать прекрасную Великобританию, как мы должны относиться к историям о похожих на летучих мышей женщинах, которые иногда летают по церкви Святого Иакова в Лауте. Как быть с существом, которое обрывочное свидетельство называют кошмаром. И некоторые в 1666 году чуть не заразило чумой весь Лондон. И кто такой этот Нимрод? легендарный неутомимый вампир-охотник, который, по словам древних британских фэконов, питается только кровью своей жертвы и может выдавать себя как за смертного, так и за бессмертного. Говорю вам, братья, если мы хотя бы на несколько минут забудем то, что якобы знаем, то неизвестно, что мы еще сможем открыть для себя. Разоблаченная ночь, Ашел Толтри, глава братства Святого Павла. Письмо с предупреждением. Пемберской больнице 25 октября. Дорогой доктор Сонси, считаю своим долгом сообщить о своих опасениях относительно случая с доктором Торо с Триклиндом и Хаури Фидиком. Мистера Фидика госпитализировали с тяжелой производственной травмой. Если не провести правильный курс лечения, он может лишиться руки. Доктор Триклинд утверждает, что хирургическое вмешательство может полностью исцелить Фидика, а я заявляю, что рука может навсегда лишиться многих функций, если возникнут осложнения. Наш юный коллега смелый и одаренный хирург, и через несколько лет он, возможно, станет превосходным специалистом. Но сейчас он не обладает необходимыми навыками для проведения такой рискованной операции. Должен ли я напомнить вам об ошибках, которые он совершил в прошлом? И поскольку доктор Триклинд отказывается меня слушать, я настоятельно рекомендую вам запретить ему проведение своего опасного эксперимента. С уважением, доктор Уэрли Экрайт. Письмо от Ракеша Чанады. Пемберская больница, 4 августа. Дорогой доктор Сонси, я готов управлять временным моргом, как только он откроется. Как я уже сказал, на фронте я был врачом и буду рад снова послужить моей стране. Я знаю, что врач для живых и для мертвых это не одно и то же, но мне кажется, что забота об усопших это важно. Будьте уверены, я приложу все силы для того, чтобы исполнять свои обязанности. Относительно моей квалификации. Не жаль, что я ничем не могу подкрепить свои слова. Я клянусь вам, что в полку меня сделали врачом, и на фронте я спас жизни многих людей. Если моего слова недостаточно, можете связаться с военной администрацией. Там подтвердят наличие у меня опыта и навыков. И засвидетельствуют то, что на войне я получил все необходимые для врача знания. Даже если и никогда не изучал медицину. Искренне ваш Ракеш Чанада, бывший врач. Так, давайте качнемся. дальше надо. Важное событие в районе. Каждую ночь вы своими действиями улучшаете или ухудшаете состояние района. Состояние также может ухудшиться из-за распространения болезней. Важное событие. Чем больше вы убиваете, тем опаснее становится район. Если состояние за здоровье жителей района окажется ниже критического уровня, он погрузится в хаос. Судьбу районов решаете вы. Тут еще два. Тут так и стабильно держится.
This shift never ends.
My sweet girl.
Мне нужен Кроид.
Reads me like a book. Never could keep anything from her.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Thank you for your time.
The pain. It's here again.
Don't worry, sir. I'll be back in a few minutes.
It's locked.
Ощущение, что все ресурсы пополнились. А походу дело так и есть. Доктор Типпет, Стрикленд и Экрой. Газичное масло надо еще найти, калий.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Patients are not fools. They know we are overwhelmed by this horrifying epidemic. The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Так,